The story of the Persian Empire begins in the 6th century BCE with the rise of Cyrus the Great, a leader whose actions would shape the course of history. The Persians at this time were a relatively small group of people living in what is modern-day Iran. Cyrus, born into the Achaemenid dynasty, inherited a small kingdom called Anshan, and through his leadership, he united the Persian people. In 550 BCE, Cyrus led his forces to defeat the Median Empire, a dominant power of the time. This victory marked the beginning of the Achaemenid Empire, a vast new Persian state that would soon stretch from the Indus Valley in the east to the Aegean Sea in the west. What made Cyrus unique was not just his military prowess but his leadership style. He was known for his tolerance of local customs, religions, and cultures, which made conquered peoples more willing to accept Persian rule. One of his most famous acts was his conquest of Babylon in 539 BCE, where he allowed the Jews, who had been exiled there, to return to their homeland. His diplomatic approach and respect for diversity helped lay the foundation for one of the largest empires in history, and he was seen as a liberator by many of the peoples he conquered. Cyrus's success on the battlefield and in diplomacy set the stage for the long-lasting and influential Persian Empire. After the death of Cyrus, his son Cambyses II expanded the Persian Empire even further, most notably conquering Egypt. However, it was Darius I who ascended to the throne in 522 BCE after a brief period of internal unrest, who truly transformed the empire into a powerful, well-organized state. Darius was a master of administration, and his reign marked the empire's most prosperous period. He expanded the Persian Empire to its greatest territorial extent, stretching from India in the east to Egypt in the west. One of Darius's most important achievements was his reform of the empire's administration. He divided the vast empire into 20 provinces, or satrapies, each governed by a satrap, or provincial governor. This decentralized system allowed local rulers to maintain order while still being loyal to the central government in Persepolis. Darius also introduced important economic reforms, such as the creation of a standardized coinage system, which facilitated trade across the empire. He built the Royal Road, a network of roads that connected the farthest reaches of the empire, improving communication and travel. These innovations not only strengthened the empire's administration, but also made the empire one of the most interconnected and prosperous civilizations of the ancient world. Darius also began ambitious military campaigns, including an invasion of Greece, but his failure to defeat the Greeks at the Battle of Marathon in 490 BCE would become one of the most famous setbacks in Persian history. During the reign of Darius I and his successor, Xerxes I, the Persian Empire experienced a period of great wealth, power, and cultural flourishing. This time is often referred to as the Golden Age of Persia. The Persian Empire was not just a military powerhouse, but also a beacon of culture and innovation. Darius's administrative reforms created a system of governance that allowed for a high degree of organization and control. Persian cities like Persepolis, the capital, became symbols of Persian grandeur, with their stunning palaces, grand stairways, and intricate artwork. These structures were not just functional, but also served as symbols of Persian strength and influence. Persian culture during this period thrived, with significant advancements in art, architecture, and science. The Persians were known for their craftsmanship in making intricate metalwork, textiles, and pottery. The empire also saw the spread of Zoroastrianism, Persia's dominant religion, which influenced many other religious and philosophical systems in the ancient world. Despite this cultural and economic prosperity, tensions with the Greek city-states began to escalate, especially as Persian rulers sought to expand their empire into Europe. This would lead to the Persian Wars, a series of conflicts between Persia and Greece that would shape the future of the empire. The Persian Wars were a series of conflicts between the Persian Empire and the Greek city-states that had lasting consequences for both civilizations. The conflict began in 490 BCE, when Darius I sought to punish the Greek city-states for their support of rebellions in the Persian-controlled region of Ionia. He sent an army to invade Greece, but at the Battle of Marathon, the Greeks, despite being outnumbered, decisively defeated the Persian forces. This was a major blow to Persian ambitions in the West, and it set the stage for future conflict. Darius's son, Xerxes I, was determined to avenge this defeat. In 480 BCE, Xerxes launched a massive invasion of Greece with an army said to number over 1 million soldiers, along with a powerful navy. The Persian forces initially had success capturing Athens and other Greek cities. However, the Greeks, led by Athens, managed to turn the tide of the war. At the Battle of Salamis, the Greek navy delivered a decisive blow to the Persian fleet, and the Persians were unable to recover from the loss. The Greek victories at Salamis and the subsequent Battle of Plataea in 479 BCE marked the end of Persian expansion into Greece and severely weakened Persian influence in the Western Mediterranean. While Persia remained a dominant power in the East, the wars with Greece had significantly drained the empire's resources and military strength. Following the Persian Wars, the Persian Empire began to experience internal struggles that would eventually lead to its decline. One of the major challenges facing the empire was the growing power of the satraps, the provincial governors who were responsible for administering the vast territories of the empire. Over time, many satraps became more independent and less loyal to the central authority in Persepolis. This fragmentation of power made it increasingly difficult for the Persian kings to maintain control over the empire. Furthermore, the Persian kings were often disconnected from the everyday concerns of their subjects. Corruption began to spread through the ranks of the administration, and the Persian military, once one of the most formidable forces in the world, began to weaken. Meanwhile, a new threat was rising to the west in the form of Macedon, led by Alexander the Great. In 334 BCE, Alexander launched a campaign to conquer the Persian Empire, and despite the efforts of the last Persian king Darius III to resist, the Persians were decisively defeated. At the Battle of Issus in 333 BCE, and again at Gaugamela in 331 BCE, Alexander's forces crushed the Persian armies, and Darius III was eventually forced to flee. These defeats marked the end of the Achaemenid dynasty and the Persian Empire. Although the Persian Empire fell to Alexander the Great in 330 BCE, its legacy continued to shape the ancient world. After his conquest, Alexander adopted many aspects of Persian governance, including the use of satrapies and the organization of the empire into provinces. Persian culture, religion, and innovations, such as their administrative systems, architecture, and road networks, continued to influence the Hellenistic world. The Persian religion of Zoroastrianism had a lasting impact on later religious traditions, including Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The Persian royal road was later used by Alexander's successors, and the Persian practice of standardized coinage continued to play a major role in global trade. Even in defeat, the cultural, political, and economic systems developed by the Persians left a profound mark on the civilizations that followed. In modern-day Iran, the legacy of the Persian Empire remains strong, as the ancient culture, language, and traditions continue to influence the nation. The Persian Empire, with its remarkable achievements in governance, culture, and innovation, remains one of the most significant empires in world history. If you enjoyed learning about the rise and fall of the Persian Empire, be sure to like and subscribe for more.